Choosing a dog trainer in Lancaster, California, wow, it's a big decision, right? So in this explainer, we're going to walk you through everything you need to know to make a really great choice for you and your best friend. So, where do you even start? How do you find the best trainer for your dog right here in Lancaster? Well, it's about a lot more than just teaching sit and stay. It's really about finding a pro who understands our unique desert environment.
Okay, first up, let's talk about what training for life in Lancaster actually looks like. You know, our desert setting brings some pretty unique challenges, and a trainer who gets that local knowledge is just going to be way more effective.
Just think about what your dog goes through every day here. A good local trainer gets this. They'll know to schedule sessions to avoid that crazy summer heat. They'll know how to teach your dog to ignore coyotes or rabbits on walks. And yeah, even how to get them used to the sounds coming from Edwards Air Force Base. That's a big one.
All right, so knowing the environment is one piece of the puzzle. But what about the trainer themselves? How do you actually size them up? Well, it really boils down to two key things: their training philosophy and their professional credentials.
You're going to hear this term a lot. Positive reinforcement. And for good reason. It's pretty much the gold standard for training that's both humane and effective. It's all about rewarding the behavior you want to see. And this works so well because it builds this awesome, trusting bond with your dog, which is, the foundation for everything else.
Now, on the other hand, if you talk to a trainer who suggests using fear, pain, or intimidation, that should be a huge red flag. Seriously. Those methods can create anxiety and even aggression, and they just don't work for long-term results. The whole point is to have a happy, confident dog, not a scared one.
So how can you tell if a trainer really knows their stuff? Well, California doesn't actually require a license for dog trainers. That's why certifications are a great sign that someone is committed to their profession. For basic obedience and puppy skills, something like a CPD-TK is fantastic. But if you're dealing with more serious issues like real aggression or severe anxiety, you'll probably want to look for someone with a more specialized certification like a CBCCK.
Okay, let's switch gears and get into the practical side of all this. What kinds of programs are out there, and what can you expect to pay here in the Lancaster area?
All right, your two most common choices are going to be group classes or private lessons. Group classes, they're awesome for socialization, and yeah, they're easier on the wallet. Private lessons, though, they give you a totally customized plan. You can tackle specific problems happening right in your own home, like barking at the mailman or jumping on visitors. The best choice? It really just depends on your dog's personality and what you're trying to achieve.
Then there's the more intensive option, board and train. This is where your dog actually lives with the trainer for a couple of weeks. It can get you some really fast results, but you have to remember, you've got to be committed to keeping up the training when your dog comes home. That's the only way to make it stick. Okay, let's talk numbers. Here's a quick look at the typical training costs you might see around Lancaster and the wider LA County area for 2025. As you can see, group classes are the most budget-friendly way to go, while those intensive board and train programs are obviously a much bigger financial investment. This should give you a good starting point for your budget.
All right, so you've got an idea of what to look for and what it might cost. What's next? The consultation. This is your chance to basically interview a potential trainer and see if you click, if they're the right fit for you and your dog. Think of this as your cheat sheet for that interview. You'll want to ask exactly what methods and equipment they use, make sure it's positive, ask about their credentials and if they do any continuing education. And here's a big one. Ask them how they'll tailor a plan specifically for your dog and for life here in Lancaster. And of course, make sure you understand how they track progress and get a crystal clear breakdown of all the costs before you sign anything. Being a great dog owner in Lancaster also means knowing the local rules of the road. And hey, good training makes following these laws so much easier. So let's quickly cover the key regulations you need to know about.
Okay, the number one rule to always remember is the leash law. In any public area in Lancaster that isn't specifically a dog park, your dog has to be on a leash that's no longer than 6 feet. This is all about safety for your dog, for other people, and for other animals.
Beyond the leash law, there are a few other must-knows. All dogs over 4 months old have to be licensed with LA County, and to do that, you'll need proof of a rabies vaccination. Also, just be aware that nonstop barking can be considered a nuisance, so if that's a problem for you, that's definitely something to bring up with your trainer.
All right, so once you get started with training, where can you actually go to practice everything? Because taking those new skills out into the real world is where the magic really happens.
And you know what? Living in Lancaster gives us some really great options. You can practice at off-leash recall safely at the Lancaster City Park Dog Park.
The trails over at Saddleback Beach State Park are perfect for working on leash skills around all those desert distractions. Or, for a bigger challenge, a controlled walk down the BLVD during a community event is a fantastic way to practice good public manners.
Look, at the end of the day, finding the right trainer is a real investment. It's an investment in a calmer, happier home and in having a dog that you can feel proud and confident to take anywhere in our community. We wish you the best of luck in your search and on the amazing training journey ahead with your dog.